You should never have money in the bank. You only buy things that produce cash flow that can't be disrupted.
Yeah.
The real estate I buy is like indestructible.
What about the real estate that you buy makes it indestructible?
Commercials, the rents are $1,500 a month. Don't keep cash in the bank. How much you got in the bank right now? How liquid are you?
A lot.
How much?
Yeah, I can't say.
Whisper.
Well, where should it be?
Write it down for me. Yeah. Okay. So.
Hey, it's a lot for me.
Yo, he started laughing.
He's like, that's my jet fuel.
Yeah, he's like, I spent that on dinner last night.
Grant's right. You shouldn't keep cash in the bank. You should never keep cash in the bank, especially not today. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Consider giving this video a like and comment below. Also share this video with anybody you think it'll be helpful and useful for in their prepping for their daily lives. But Grant's right. You need cash flow producing assets that continuously pay you day after day after day. Money sitting in the bank is losing its value every single day based on inflation, based on increased rates, based on hyperinflation. You guys are seeing it in the stores, the grocery stores. Food prices are through the roof. Gas, diesel, all fuel prices are up. We're going to see spikes in the kilowatt hour rate for electricity soon, especially those on the West Coast in California who are experiencing California, Southern California, Arizona, I believe Idaho as well. You're going to be experiencing some severe drought situations. Water is going to be, there's going to be a shortage on water. The rate for water is going to go up. The water, the unavailable or the lack thereof of the water to produce the hydroelectric energy through the dams at the lakes to produce the power are going to shift power production to solar. Thus, the power created from solar and other methods beyond water are going to increase the cost of power just for the fact that there's a shortage on the availability of producing the power. So everything is going to be more expensive. I watched a video earlier, homes in the state of Nevada were the same homes were $50,000 to $80,000 just 2-3 years ago have seen comps in the $350,000 range. Me personally, I actually have my home on the market right now, and the price that we have it listed at is relatively high to what we bought it for just 2 years ago, and we're getting offers above the asking price despite the increase in the rates. Everything is going to cost more. You may say, well, why are you doing that? Well, because the home that I have is not a cash flow producing asset. It does have equity, it has appreciated, and I want to recognize that gain and that increase now today to then take those funds and invest them in other places to continuously produce more money every single day. On top of that, going to add to the stockpile fund and increase our prepper pantry, so to speak. It's a little bit more than a pantry. And when we actually get it completed, I may share a little piece of it with you so you guys can see it. But, you know, we are preparing ourselves for when shit hits the fan, but we're also preparing ourselves to be in a position so that our cash that's not sitting in the bank is continuously working to make us more money so that we can afford to prep. We can afford to buy the food when it is on the shelves. We can afford to pay the higher utility costs for water and electricity and fuel, transportation. Everything is going up. Everything is becoming more and more expensive, and there's really no end in sight. You know, the best case scenario is going to be a recession that could potentially slow this down. But even that may not be the antidote to this ailment that this country is faced with right now, even the whole world really, for the fact that, you know, we would be in a recession with high demand and low supply. So that combination, that equation would still equal to high prices. So the only way to combat that is to have ways of increasing your income and having the availability and access to more money. And your money sitting in the bank, your money sitting in a savings account, your money sitting in a CD is not going to produce that for you. You're losing money every single day by doing that. And Grant Cardone, he's right. Logan Paul, you know, he may take this experience and reconsider his cash holding position and, you know, seriously look to invest in cash flow producing assets. Grant loves real estate. He really loves real estate. But if you've ever watched or followed or paid attention or listened to anything that Grant does, it's all about commercial. It's all about multiple units. He even says here, why does he invest in what he invests in? It's because his properties produce $1,500 at a minimum per month. And if you watch any of my previous videos here recently, you'll know that not only are things getting more expensive, but in addition to that, we're going to see more real estate becoming only available through rent. And I do believe that even in my particular situation, that the potential buyers of this particular property are interested in a form of renting by way of the extra building on the property. It's a detached garage that can be finished for a tenant and or a basement with direct access for a tenant and utilities and plumbing. And, you know, the real estate market is moving to a rental market. And if you aren't in an ownership position, then that's where you're going to be forced to live and pay that price. We kind of monitor all the prices in different areas and different cities, because we're back and forth between Atlanta, Georgia, and Gulf Coast in Florida. And we just kind of monitor things. And we've seen, I think Florida was actually listed as the most expensive state to live in for 2022, or maybe projected for 2023. But we're seeing the rates go up. Everything's going up. But if you're in a position of real estate ownership that allows you to rent to tenants, then you have the ability to produce that cash flow every month. And, you know, I know on another video, somebody actually commented, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys commenting. If you would, just go ahead and drop a comment below and let me know what you think about holding cash in the bank and the real estate position, and where you see real estate going for the next few months, next few years. But they actually commented on a video and they said, hey, you know, I don't want to be a landlord, because if shit hits the fan, then the tenants don't have to pay. And that's somewhat of a half truth, because it all depends on your position as the landlord. When we were faced with the pandemic and there was a rent moratorium, the tenants didn't have to pay if the owner of the property that they were renting had a federally backed mortgage. If it was a privately held mortgage, which is what we have, which is what we use, we would not be included in that category. So our tenant would still have to pay. They wouldn't have that moratorium. However, with that being said, we also had the ability to take a mortgage forbearance. So as the tenant wouldn't have to pay, we as the owner holding the mortgage wouldn't have to pay either. Fast forward a few months, those protections end, things kind of get caught back to normal. And then there are funds available from the government to assist with the rents, the back rents and future rents. And then as far as the homeowner and the mortgage, there's a modification process that, it's kind of like no harm, no foul. And it was designed in a way to allow people to try to stay safe and distanced without completely disrupting everybody's income, when most people weren't able to actually go to work and earn an income. So it was a little bit of a half truth. And then the other thing about that is, me personally, in my experience, what I think based on what I've seen, and also how how damaging a lot of these programs were, particularly stimulus, how damaging these programs were to the economy overall, putting us in the position we're in today, right now, that we're trying to dig out of this massive hole of. And I don't feel like when shit hits the fan that that's ever going to be a possibility ever again. That was that 100-year rain. That was that 100-year flood. If you're banking on that to happen again, for whether the reasoning being you don't want to get involved in real estate and be a landlord, you're banking on that, or if you're banking on it for it'll happen again and I'm going to get stimulus checks and I'm going to get free money from the government and not have to work and do anything and just get paid to sit home, sit on my ass, it's not going to happen. So if you're waiting on that to happen, it's not going to happen. So, and you know, I'll be the first to put my foot in my mouth and eat my words if that were to be the case. We can come back to this video and I will own it. I will own up to it. But I can promise you that when shit hits the fan, we are not going to be put in the same situation we were put in 2 years ago. And it's probably going to be a much tougher situation because we've already seen the devastating and detrimental effects that it has had on the economy that we're struggling to pull out of. So for some big news event to happen again, we're not going to immediately revert back to what we just did to put us in the same position we're in now. And again, we are waiting on that next big news event, and it is coming. I don't know what it is, but you're going to want to be prepared. Not only are you going to want to be prepared with food and water and shelter and safety and equipment and transportation and fuel and alternative resources beyond the grid, but you know, you're going to want to be able to be financially prepared because that next news event could be, it could be an event that doesn't shut us down, but it could be an event that forces even more inflation, which makes things more expensive, which is going to hurt people a whole lot more if we're battling price. Because at that point, you're not going to have any aid, any support at all to help you in the interim to afford to put gas in your vehicle at $10 a gallon, to afford to buy chicken at the grocery store for $10 a pound, to afford to buy milk at the grocery store for $10 a gallon. You know, these are some realistic, high-priced, hyper-inflated food prices, fuel prices, daily necessities that we need every single day that are realistic possibilities that could theoretically thin the herd. You know, if you really want to take somebody out, you choke them out, you suffocate them. There's multiple ways to do it. Price them out of the game, make it impossible for them to eat. So I hope you guys take this information seriously and really, really evaluate and listen to what Grant's saying. And I may bring a few more other financial updates and tips for you guys to really see. But the financial component is huge. Keeping your money, your cash in the savings or in a bank account is not the best way to go. You do want to have a little bit of a safety net. Dave Ramsey will tell you, have a little bit of a safety net. But beyond that, you need to have cash flow producing assets that are going to help you increase your income, increase your adjusted gross, your AGI annually, so that you can continuously to afford everything that you need every single day that is going up in price every single day. Take care, be safe. I'll see you guys on the next.